Hey, it's John Foss. I'm very excited to be talking with Callahan Walsh. We're talking about In Pursuit: The Missing, which is streaming on Discovery Plus, and this is a special, and it's going to be leading up to In Pursuit with John Walsh, the new season. Callahan, tell us about the show and what we're going to see.
Well, the new special In Pursuit the Missing is a new 1 hour special on Discovery Plus that covers two gripping missing persons cases. One, a 29-year-old woman who went missing just this past summer from Cape Coral, Florida. And the second case being a 15-year-old girl who went missing out of Fort Lauderdale. Two cases with a lot of mystery surrounding both of them, two cases with families that are desperate for answers, and both cases law enforcement have hit dead ends. And so we're harnessing the power of the public, looking for those tips that lead to a reunification of these missing people with their loved ones.
And I did watch that episode, and thank you so much for all that you're doing. Has the show led to any leads? Are we seeing progress from the show at this point? And I'm sure once it gets out there more, there's a possibility of more leads, but has there been leads since we last visited the show?
Right. Well, because the show is streaming on Discovery Plus, the tips continue to roll in. So our hotline is open 24/7 for any individuals to give us that information. And I can't stress that enough. No matter how insignificant an individual might think their tip is, please give us that call. Call our hotline. You can text or email as well. Please give us that information. And we have started getting in tips already, specifically for Lauren DeMolo's case. Some really great tips that came in that we provided to law enforcement that they're already investigating. And we know the tips work because In Pursuit with John Walsh, 23 of the fugitives that we've featured on the show are now in police custody. Even during the lockdown, we're still getting guys locked up. And so it's all about harnessing the power of the public. They're oftentimes law enforcement's most powerful tool, and that's what we're relying on this time around with In Pursuit the Missing.
That's crazy that you guys have had so much success, but obviously that's an amazing, awesome thing that's happening. My question, I guess, based on that, the success and the power that you guys have and what you guys are doing for good, is there pushback? Is your family, are you guys in danger? Do you guys get a lot of threats because of what you're doing from these bad individuals that you're trying to put away?
That comes with the territory. It really does. We're going after the worst of the worst fugitives on In Pursuit with John Walsh. And my father did it as well for 25 years on America's Most Wanted. Put away a lot of bad guys and guys that weren't wanted just for, this or that. And we're talking worst of the worst: murders, rape, serial rapists, child molesters. And since my father's been doing it since, the early 80s, some of these individuals are getting out of prison now. And I grew up with bodyguards and security and this and that. So it's a concern, but I know there's a lot of good people out there. That's not, doesn't take up my whole day thinking about, the bad people out there. There's a lot of good people out there that do some incredible stuff. And, I think that just comes with the territory. Look, I receive threats all the time. It's part of the job, and it's something that I'm willing to bear to get justice for families, to recover loved ones, and to do what we're able to do. I grew up in a family, my brother Adam went missing in 1981 and was later found murdered. I grew up in a family that had a missing loved one, a family of pain. We used to always say, if Adam's song is to continue, then we must do the singing, and I'm trying to do that every single day.
You mentioned that horrific thing that happened to your family, but you guys have done so many good things because of that initial event that took place. Is that something that everybody in your family still thinks about on a day-to-day basis to continue to drive what you guys are doing today?
100%, absolutely. My parents co-founded the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children after Adam's death in 1984. It's an organization that I work at. That's my day job, is working for the National Center. And we continue to strive to recover missing children in Adam's legacy. I grew up with my parents saying we need to make sure Adam didn't die in vain. And the work at the National Center, an organization that helped recover over 350,000 missing kids, working regularly with law enforcement, with families, it's just so next to my heart. I'm just honored to be able to follow in my parents' footsteps and continue the legacy that they started, and continue to help families and provide them with resources and support, and provide them with recoveries. That's why we do what we do. When we get that recovery of a missing child and are able to reunite them with their family, it's the most incredible thing in the world. And that's why we do what we do.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Adam was abducted from a Sears store. And I guess for people that are living, kind of a normal life with kids, they probably think places like that are not dangerous. But however, we hear these terrible stories of people being abducted from places where we assume they're safe. What would you say to parents as far as like to educate them or to let them know, no, these places aren't safe, and what should parents be looking out for, and who are these people that are doing this?
Right. My parents never thought something like this could happen to them. My father was middle class businessman. My mother, a stay at home mom. Never thought something like this could ever happen to our family. And when that day finally came, there was no place for them to turn to. And so part of the work at the National Center is prevention education for parents and children to make sure they're safe, whether it's out in the real world or safe online as well. Stranger abductions, like what happened to my brother Adam, happen infrequently. Now they still do happen, and they are dangerous situations, and parents should always talk to their children about making safe and smart decisions in the real world and knowing who are trusted adults and using the buddy system and many of those types of rules. But the predators online is something that's newer, that many parents don't really have a full understanding of. That knowledge gap is just so severe between children and adults compared to what happened, their knowledge of what happens online. And parents can't always be there to protect their children when it comes to online dangers. So it's just so important for parents to talk to their children, have ongoing conversations with their kids about safety and safe decision making, being able to identify a risky situation and learn how to avoid it, because the online exploitation of our children is just ramping up. At the National Center, we had 21.7 million reports of suspected child sexual abuse in 2020, a 100% increase in online enticement cases where individuals are grooming and luring children online. We've even seen chatter on the dark web by these child exploiters and predators sharing best practices and tips on how to groom and lure children, how to extort them, because we're all experiencing increased screen time. And these individuals are using COVID as a silver lining in a way to prey on our children. And so that's why it's just so important for parents to understand these risks are out there and to empower their children with safe and smart decision making.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Callahan, thank you so much for all that you and your family are doing and have done. And everybody, make sure you check out In Pursuit: The Missing. It's streaming right now on Discovery Plus. Thanks, Callahan.
Thank you for having me.